They all cost the same, $20 a month. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, basically identical price. And that's exactly why most people pick the wrong one. Because when the price is a tie, you stop comparing. You grab whichever name you've heard the most, you pay every month, and you never find out the one you actually needed was sitting right next to it. So let's fix that in the next 8 minutes. No hype, no sponsor, just what each one is genuinely best at, and who should pay for which. 3 tools: ChatGPT from OpenAI, Claude from Anthropic, and Gemini from Google. At the standard tier, they're all about $20 a month. ChatGPT Plus, $20. Claude Pro, $20. Google's AI Pro plan, the one that used to be called Gemini Advanced, is $19.99. So price is not the deciding factor. The deciding factor is what you actually do with it. Here's the whole picture, then we'll go line by line. I'm going to judge these on 4 things that actually change your day. 1, writing quality. 2, coding. 3, how much it can read at once, that's the context window. And 4, everything else the subscription throws in. Features, voice, images, the ecosystem. Keep that scorecard in your head. Let's start where the biggest gap is: writing. This is the clearest difference of the 3, and it's not close. Claude writes the most human text. Reviewers who blind tested all 3 in 2026 kept landing on the same result. Claude's writing sounds the least like a robot wrote it. It follows a brand voice. It keeps a tone you ask for. It doesn't drown every paragraph in "moreover" and "in today's fast-paced world." ChatGPT is a strong all-rounder here. Fast, capable, fine for most emails and posts. But it has a house style, and once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Gemini is the weakest of the 3 on prose. It's competent, it's just flatter. So if your subscription is mostly for writing, blog posts, reports, marketing copy, real documents, Claude is the one. That alone is worth the $20. Round 2, coding. Same winner, and here's why it matters even if you're not a developer. Claude produces the cleanest code of the 3. Better structure, better names, fewer confident mistakes. When it refactors a whole file, it tends to actually understand the file. That's the difference between code that runs and code you have to babysit. ChatGPT is the most versatile. It'll touch almost any language and give you something workable fast. But on the tricky logic problems, it's the one most likely to be confidently wrong. And confidently wrong is the most expensive kind of wrong, because you trust it. Gemini is fast, and it can swallow an enormous codebase at once. But the code it writes is more "it works" than "it's clean." 2 rounds in, Claude's taken both. So why would you ever pick the other 2? Because of the next 2 rounds. Round 3, how much can it read at once? This is where Gemini finally wins something big. A context window is just how much you can hand the tool in one go before it starts forgetting the start. And the numbers here are not close. ChatGPT Plus gives you around 128,000 tokens. Claude Pro gives you 200,000, and it's genuinely good at using what you give it instead of losing the thread. But Gemini? 1 to 2 million tokens. That is a different category. You can drop an entire book, a giant codebase, or a pile of research papers into Gemini in a single session and ask questions across all of it. Pair that with its deep research mode, which goes off and reads dozens of sources for you, and Gemini becomes the research tool of the 3. So if your real job is wrangling huge documents or doing deep research, this is the round that should decide your money. Round 4, your data. And this is the one nobody likes to talk about. Here's the uncomfortable part. With all 3 of these, on the standard consumer plan, the things you type can be used to help train future versions of the model, unless you go and turn that off. And almost nobody turns it off. Now, the defaults are not all the same, and they change often, so I'm not going to pretend one is a saint and one is a villain. What matters is this. Every one of them has a setting to opt out of training. It takes about 30 seconds. If you ever paste anything sensitive, client work, contracts, code you don't own, go find that toggle today in whichever one you use. And if you're doing this for a business, there's a cleaner answer. The team and business tiers for all three don't train on your data by default. So if privacy is the whole ballgame, the $20 consumer plan is the wrong plan, regardless of which brand you pick. Step up to the business tier and the question mostly goes away. So no winner this round. Just a warning and a 30-second fix. Round 5. Speed and reliability, the part you only notice when it fails. Day to day, all three feel quick on short prompts. The gap shows up under load. Gemini is the fastest of the three on long inputs. It chews through a giant document without stalling. ChatGPT sits in the middle, steady and predictable, with the fewest try again later moments. Claude is right there on quality, but on the $20 plan, it's the one most likely to tap you on the shoulder with a usage limit in a long working session, and then make you wait. Here's where that actually bites. Picture a Sunday afternoon, you're deep in one long task, editing a big document, working through a chunk of code, and right at the worst moment, you hit the cap. You're not paying more money in that instant, you're paying in broken focus. For a casual user firing off a few questions a day, none of this ever shows up and you can ignore the whole round. For a heavy user living in these tools for hours, it's one of the most underrated differences there is. None of this should override writing or research needs, but if you work in long, uninterrupted sessions, it's a real tiebreaker and worth knowing before you commit your $20. Round 6. Everything else the $20 buys. ChatGPT has the widest feature set, full stop. Image generation, the Sora video model, advanced voice you can actually talk to, and custom GPTs. If you want the Swiss Army knife, one subscription that does a bit of everything, ChatGPT is it. Gemini's edge is different. It's already inside your Google life. It plugs into Gmail and Docs, and the Pro plan throws in 5 terabytes of storage. If you already pay Google for storage, the AI is almost a free upgrade on top of what you're buying anyway. Claude is the most focused of the three, fewer toys. It bets everything on the quality of the answer. Whether that's a feature or a flaw depends entirely on what you came for. So, which one should you actually pay for? Here's the honest verdict by what you do. If you mostly write, edit, or code, pay for Claude. The quality gap is the most useful difference in this whole comparison, and you'll feel it every single day. If you want the broadest toolkit, images, voice, video, a bit of everything, pay for ChatGPT. And if you're drowning in long documents, doing serious research, or you already live inside Google, pay for Gemini. One more thing quickly. All three sell a premium tier. $200 a month for ChatGPT Pro and Claude Max, $250 for Google's Ultra plan. Ignore them until the $20 plan is genuinely slowing you down. For almost everyone, it never will. Remember how we started? They all cost the same. That was never the real question. The real question was what you do with it. Match the tool to that, and $20 a month is one of the best deals in software. Match it wrong, and it's just another subscription you forget you're paying for. Pick the one that's best at the thing you actually do. So that's the verdict. Pick the tool that wins at the one thing you actually do, and skip the rest. If this saved you money, subscribe. The next verdict drops next week.